Hey guys, this is Camplified, and in this video we will talk about reactions of alkynes. In our case, we will take our reference molecule as acetylene. What I mean to say is all the reactions which we are applying on acetylene can be applied to higher alkynes under similar conditions. Right? So let's start. The first reaction is when acetylene is treated with hydrogen in presence of nickel catalyst at 250 degrees centigrade to 300 degrees centigrade, you get ethane. So this is a reduction reaction in which all the double bond and triple bond are broken down to single bond. Now the second reaction is again a reduction reaction when acetylene is treated with H2 in presence of palladium catalyst and CaCO3. Now this reagent is known by the name Lindlar catalyst, and this gives a controlled reduction. It will give reduction but controlled reduction, so triple bond will be converted to double bond only, right? So when nickel is present, you will get single bonded molecule. When Pd is present, you will get double bonded ethylene, right? Now let's move to the next. Third one is when acetylene is treated with Cl2. When acetylene is treated with chlorine, the two chlorine atoms occupy the two carbons individually. Again, when the ethylene double bonded alkene so formed, 1,1-dichloroethene so formed, 1,2-dichloroethene formed in this case. When treated with chlorine again, the chlorine atoms occupy individual carbons again, breaking the double bond. Now the final product you are going to get is 1,1,2,2 tetrachloroethane, which goes by the name Vestron. When this Vestron is treated with CaO, you will get Vestrol, which means HCl will be removed and you will get trichloroethene, right? So this is the third reaction. The fourth one is when acetylene is treated with HCl, the first product you are going to get is 1-chloroethane. Simple. Hydrogen will occupy one carbon, chlorine will get attached to the second carbon. But as soon as the first step take place, the first step is over, the molecule which you have now in your hand is an unsymmetrical alkene. Why? Because on one side you have two hydrogen, on the other side you have one hydrogen and one chlorine. Now when again this molecule is treated with HCl, this will follow Markovnikov rule. In this case, hydrogen is positive and chlorine is negative. So according to Markovnikov rule, the positive part will attach to that carbon that have higher number of hydrogen. I repeat again, the positive part will attach to that double bonded carbon that have higher number of hydrogen. So in this case, this carbon have two hydrogen, this carbon has one hydrogen. So hydrogen will attach to the second carbon, right? And you will get 1,1-dichloroethane because chlorine will get attached to the same carbon, right? So this is the fourth reaction. Let's move to the fifth. Now in the fifth reaction, when acetylene is treated with HOCl, hypochlorous acid, in this reaction, if you look closely, oxygen is more electronegative than chlorine. So OH will have a negative charge and Cl will have a positive charge. In the first case, you can attach any group to any carbon. OH is attached to this carbon, chlorine is attached to this carbon, right? Now this molecule is, you cannot say that it is unsymmetrical because in both the cases number of hydrogen is same. So how you are going to apply Markovnikov rule? You can't apply the Markovnikov rule according to the definition. So what you are going to do is you are going to take a different approach. In our case, OH has a negative charge and chlorine have a positive charge. Oxygen is attached to this carbon. So since oxygen is highly electronegative, it will attract the bonded electron towards itself, creating a small positive charge on this carbon, right? And small negative charge on oxygen itself. So since this carbon is having more positive charge, the more delta negative than in this case, chlorine is also electronegative, it will also attract, it will also give delta positive charge on this carbon, but this is greater, this delta positive is greater than this one, right? So OH group will attach to this carbon and chlorine will again move to this carbon, right? And you will get this kind of molecule, which is this kind of intermediate which is unstable. OH is on the same carbon and chlorine is on the same carbon. Now as soon as you find this situation in any molecule when two OH group are present on the same carbon, what you are going to do is you are going to remove H2O. Why? Because this intermediate is unstable. So as soon as you remove H2O, you will get a double bond O attached to the carbon, right? So this is your final product, dichloroacetaldehyde. This is your final product. Let's move to the next. Now this is the direct reaction. When acetylene is treated with H2O, HgSO4 and H2SO4 at 80 degrees centigrade, you will get acetaldehyde. Next, there is not much explanation about this. This is just a direct reaction. 7. When acetylene is treated with arsenic chloride in presence of anhydrous AlCl3, you get lucite. This is a rare reaction and it is a poisonous gas. So direct question can come, what is lucite? It is a poisonous gas. This is the structure. It is formed from acetylene when acetylene is treated with arsenic chloride. Next, when acetylene is treated with ozone, now this reaction is kind of different. The final product you are going to get is formic acid, and the intermediate which you are going to get is, in case of double bond, the intermediate was different. In case of triple bond, in case of acetylene, the intermediate will be different, and the structure that you are going to have is like this. This is your first intermediate which you are going to get when acetylene is treated with ozone. Now after this, what is going to happen is this bond will break, this bond will break, and this bond will break, and you will get the second compound, that is C double bond OH and C double bond OH. This is the second compound, glyoxal, and after this, when again hydrolyzed, you will get formic acid. So sometimes they will stop at this, right? So this is also the product of ozonolysis from acetylene, right? And you can take it up to formic acid, right? So these are the two products that you should remember, this one and last one, formic acid. Ninth one, when acetylene is treated with CuCl2 in presence of NH4Cl, you get vinyl acetylene, right? You will get vinyl acetylene. In this reaction, two molecules of acetylene will react together in presence of CuCl2 and NH4Cl to give vinyl acetylene. This is the first molecule and this is the second molecule. Next, now these two are simple reactions. When acetylene is treated with cuprous chloride, CuCl2, Cu2Cl2 and NH4OH, ammonium hydroxide, you will get copper acetylide. In this reaction, hydrogens are replaced by copper. In similar manner, look at the 11th one. When acetylene is treated with AgNO3 and NH4OH, the hydrogen atoms are replaced by silver atom. So you will get silver acetylide. Silver acetylide. I am sorry, I am not getting it right. Silver acetylide, right? Silver acetylide. Next, 12th is when acetylene undergoes combustion. Now this is just a basic reaction. Any alkane, alkene, when undergoes combustion, they will give CO2 and H2O. 13th, when acetylene is treated with alkaline KMNO4. Now this is important. Alkaline KMNO4 gives oxidation, right? So this is an oxidation reaction, and in this reaction, the final product is oxalic acid. Both the carbon will individually get a carboxylic group, and you will get the final product as oxalic acid. Now this is the last one, 14th one. When acetylene is heated in a red hot tube, you will get benzene. This is just a reaction that I was able to find. So when acetylene is heated in a red hot tube, you will get benzene. So this was the final reaction. I hope I have covered all the reactions regarding acetylene. This will be it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching.